Hey, what is up, guys? Um, Hopping on today. I got a couple of questions that I wanted to answer for you guys, and I figured YouTube would be the best way since most of these questions are coming from YouTube. So over here, it's in the morning, and I'm gonna start doing live streams on YouTube a little bit more. I think you guys might like that a little bit more. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this, if you'd like this, if you're watching the replay or whatever. One thing I wanted to go over today is the question that I get really often is where do I find phones to buy for flipping? So I wanted to answer this because there's a bunch of ways where you can just find devices, and I'm going to go over a couple of them today, so that you guys can get started. I'm going to start with the most basic and then kind of gradually go up to the most complicated. But I want to go over this because I think it'll help a lot of you guys out with getting started. Okay, so because I know a lot of people follow my channel that and a lot of you guys are just getting started, and if you are just getting started, I would highly recommend actually checking out my Tech Flips to Profit ebook. If you're watching the replay and everything, it should be in the description below. It's like $5. It's like 112 pages. It's good in my opinion anyway. So where do I find phones for to buy for flipping? Where do I find profitable devices, right? So the very first place that I'm going to recommend for you guys is going to be Facebook Marketplace. Okay, the reason I say Facebook Marketplace is because there's already people on there that are looking to sell their devices. They're trying to make some money by selling their devices, and that's just what is happening, right? So that is the first place that I would recommend. Now, one of the questions that I get often is, should I start with, the higher end phones or the lower end devices? So it depends on how much money you have and your experience level. So if you're just starting out, typically what I would recommend is starting off with like the iPhone 11s through the iPhone 13s. Now we are in 2024. If you're watching this later, it could be a little different now, right? But uh, I would recommend starting off with the iPhone 11 through the 13. The reason I recommend doing that is because those you can usually, at least right now in the marketplace, you can buy them for $80 to $120, and a lot of times you can flip them for like $160 to $240. And that's a really good way to get started with all of this, so that it keeps you, it can move you forward quickly, and there's not a ton of risk. Okay. Another thing that I would highly recommend going after is cracked and damaged devices. The reason I recommend going after those is because there's definitely money to be made in the cracked and damaged device world. Okay, you don't even have to know how to fix things. Okay, and the reason I say go after cracked and damaged devices is because people are not emotionally attached to those devices anymore. All right, so for example, if I was going after somebody who had an iPhone 13 Pro Max and it was cracked, you know, I could probably get them down to about 150, 140. And the reason I say that is because I've done that many, many times, right? So, and if you can buy devices like that often in that price range, you can double your profit a lot of times. All right. So Facebook Marketplace would be the first place that I recommend going to get devices. I'd recommend starting with iPhone 11 through 13, cracked devices, if possible. Definitely recommend those types of devices. Another thing that I would recommend is going after game consoles. So Matt Shirley, one of the coaches in our Recelerator program, came in a couple of years ago and started teaching my students how to buy and flip game consoles. And it was such a game changer that we just added it into our Recelerator program. And it's been such a just an enormous game changing thing for my students. We actually had one student recently. She did $16,000 in profit in 4 months, and most of it came from game consoles and cameras. Funny enough, so there's a lot of devices out there that you can flip, uh, outside of just iPhones. A lot of people focus on iPhones, and that's something that I just don't recommend. Is like focus on iPhones. There's more of them than there is of anything else, but like don't count out all of the other devices that you could be getting. Okay, there's so many. Like There's iPhones, there's MacBooks, there's smartwatches, there's cameras, there's VR headsets, there's all of these different things that you can purchase. It. And one of my mentors, who is basically the creator of what we call direct buyer price sheets, I was asking him one day. I was like, should you niche down to a specific type of device that you buy and flip, or should you like expand? And he's like, it makes more sense to expand because there's more product, and where there's more product, there's more profit. And I agree with that. So, in the case of niching down meaning you focus on like one thing. My personal opinion is just niche down to electronics that will fit and go through the mail. Like that's my niche. Is I aim for all sorts of electronics because to me it makes more sense to do that than anything else. All right, so Facebook Marketplace is the first place that I'm going to recommend, where you can start with iPhones, MacBooks, smartwatches, cameras, VR headsets, game consoles, and different things like that. So that is the first place. You can also throw in OfferUp here. Some people do a lot of OfferUp. Uh, the I mean, OfferUp. I've noticed the response time on OfferUp isn't nearly as good as it is on Facebook. Typically on Facebook, whenever we send my message that we send out, it's the hey, I run a company that buys used and damaged phones, MacBooks, iPads, smartwatches, cameras, and other electronics. If I were to pay cash today, would you take a lower price? We usually see to like a 40 to 50% response rate on Facebook. It's a little bit lower on OfferUp. I've noticed people don't answer on OfferUp nearly as much. So just kind of just know that, right? There's a couple other apps out there that are little marketplace apps that you can use as well. But so far, Facebook Marketplace has definitely been the beginning ground for a lot of my students and people that follow this channel too. The next thing that I would recommend, the next place where you can find phones and electronics to buy for flipping, is you can actually start running what's called paid Facebook ads. So Facebook ads are what I call interruption marketing. And that's just basically where you're running ads that are interrupting somebody's news feed on Facebook Marketplace. And whenever you interrupt their news feed, you're saying something like, hey, I buy phones, or I buy game consoles, or I buy something like this. It's called interruption marketing. You're getting their attention. You're basically taking their attention away from everything else that they're scrolling past. And you're trying to grab their attention and aim to buy something that they might have sitting around, right? So if you can do that and you can start ads that way, you can start generating what's called inbound leads. Okay, this is another great way to get devices. And if you can start generating inbound leads, it makes your life a lot easier because you won't have to do as much outbound on Facebook, right? Now, once again, I recommend diversifying what you buy with your Facebook ads. So with your Facebook ads, you can also run ads for game consoles. You can also run ads for different types of devices, cameras, MacBooks, all of those types of devices, right? So by diversifying out, it gives you more opportunity. Also, by diversifying, it allows you to become more valuable to a customer. Okay, and when you become more valuable to a customer, that's kind of where you want to be. We are an asset. I want you guys to kind of think a little differently about what your business is. If you have a business, we are an asset to other people. Okay, that's what we are. Yes, it is our business, but how can we become an asset to these other people and help them make more, help them get money? Because guys, let's be real. The people that are reaching out to us, they're reaching out to us because they got to pay their electric bill. They got to pay their water bill. They got to pay this. They got to pay that, right? So, and the reason we use Facebook ads and Instagram ads and things like that is so that we can get in front of people that aren't necessarily like, it's a cold audience, but we're trying to turn them into a warm audience. And then there's also two kind of closes on Facebook that you need to understand. Number one, these people are going to try and figure out if you're legit or not. And so you need to be responsive. If you're not responsive, they're just going to assume you're a scammer. All right. The next thing is you also got to close them on meeting up with you and all of that. So Facebook ads, Instagram ads are the same thing basically, but the recommendation here is start those after you've done or after you're doing about 20 to 50 reach outs a day, okay, on Facebook Marketplace, because you'll probably make most of your money on Facebook Marketplace starting off. All right. And it's free. It just requires your time, and that's just how it works, right? The beauty of paid ads is you're basically trading your money for time, right? So the next thing that I recommend, the next place that I recommend getting phones and devices for flipping is Google Ads. Google Ads and Google My Business. So these are two separate entities. Google Ads is what you pay for. Um, Basically, putting an ad out there. It's a sponsored ad that goes on Google search. And people, whenever somebody types in "sell my phone near me," you want your ad to pop up. That's the goal here. Okay, is you want your ad to pop up so that you can buy their phone. That's the goal. All right. Your ad will show up next to Eco ATM, Trade in Tech, It's Worth More, places like that. Right. And the goal there is to just get in front of these people again. It's not really interruption marketing. I call Google behavior based marketing. The great thing about behavior based marketing is it follows behavior trends. And these are the people that like need to sell immediately, right? Otherwise, you're just going to go to Eco ATM, drop it in the box, and you're going to lose out on money, right? You got to respond to these people fast. A lot of the times they will call you, so you need to be okay on the phone and stuff like that, right? The next thing is Google My Business, which is not necessarily Google Ads. A lot of people get it confused, but Google Ads is what you pay for. Google My Business you don't pay for. Google My Business is a business profile on Google. So if you guys were to type in like Mexican restaurant near me, you would likely go to the business profile of that restaurant. Okay, it's actually what holds the reviews and different things like that, right? You don't necessarily go to the website anymore. You go to that business profile on Google instead, so that you can look at the reviews and you can kind of see the pictures, right? Google prioritizes that now over everything else. Like your website SEO is essentially kind of dead in that sense. Like you should be focusing on Google My Business SEO, all right, and getting that to show up a lot more than anything else. All right. So, and the great thing about Google is once you start generating reviews, you start getting photos on that profile, you start getting different things, you can build things up, and eventually it will start generating leads on its own for free. It's the most valuable asset in your business by far. All right. The next way that I recommend generating or getting devices is by going to pawn shops, by going to repair shops, by going to places like that. There's many of them in many different cities. Sometimes you can buy a bunch of like bulk stuff, especially from like pawn shops and stuff like that. And then there's other times with repair shops, you can do consignment deals. You can buy stuff directly from them. I got a student right now who he used our reach out tool, and he's sending like 50 a day. He actually was able to connect with a repair shop, and he's buying like 10 phones a week from the repair shop. So you can also connect with pawn shops on Marketplace as well. So definitely look into those. The next way that I recommend is if you're looking to scale things up, then I would look into buying from other phone flippers in the area. All right. The reason I recommend that is because so I did an analysis a while back, and I realized that most phone flippers buy and resell locally. Most of them don't sell online. By selling online, you actually have a massive advantage, either online or to direct buyers. A lot of phone flippers, like local phone flippers, don't even realize that direct buyers exist. And if you don't know what a direct buyer is, that's basically, you can basically think of it like a wholesaler, but they actually buy. They don't just sell to you. Okay. If you need more information on that, I would definitely recommend my ebook. You can check it out. I have some listed in there. So that's another thing I would recommend is reaching out to other resellers in the area and buying the devices from them if you can. Okay. Now, the last two ways that you can generate leads. Well, one of them don't really generate leads from, but I'm going to go over it anyway. Repeat customers. So Whenever you buy from somebody, the idea or the ideal thing that you want to do is you want them to become a repeat customer. You want them to sell to you more often. Now, the one of the best ways to do this is by buying more than just iPhones. If you can buy more than just iPhones from one person, once again, you become more valuable to that customer, right? So typically, whenever I was only buying iPhones, I would get a customer every like 6 months, right? But whenever I had a repeat customer and I bought more than just iPhones, they would come back with Xboxes and PlayStations and cameras and things like that. And that's important because you make more money when you do that. Okay, you become more valuable to the customer. It's a very good thing. All right. And then the last way is referrals. Okay, referrals. So you want your customers to be referring you to their friends and their family and people like that. All right. And this is marketing 101, right? So if you can get the people that you're buying stuff from to send you more people, that makes your cost to acquire a customer go down, your CAC. Okay. And if you can get that to go down, you're going to make more profit. Okay. So the last way that I recommend being able to find phones and devices for flipping is by asking other people, like asking the customers that you're currently dealing with and just asking them, hey, do you know anybody else that might be looking to sell some devices, just like you? And people, they will refer you. Believe me, it works. All right. So this is where I recommend finding phones and devices to buy. All right. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if I should do more of these more often here on YouTube. And I'll see you guys later.